What's up, everyone? What is going on in the 3D printing world? Where's the technology going? And also, where is the emporium on this channel? Like, what products are we coming out with? So stay tuned. So this is the vlog series, which I will kind of do a deep dive in where the printing technology is going, where I see it going, what news I can gather, right? I also will drop a tip of the week, or tip of the month, whatever it is, meaning like if you're getting a first layer adhesion problems, let's jump into it. Let's find out why, and we'll do it together, of course, and it'll be a collection of tips and troubleshooting. As I learn, so do you, and as you learn, so do I, right? So please do share any kind of tips that you have too in the comment section below, because this is a community that I believe in, and I want a 3D printer in everybody's household very soon. The other aspect of this is going to be the emporium part of it. My business as a 3D printer, where I'm taking my Tashi Station businesses, which is designing and printing and selling products for action figure collecting, toy stands, toy displays, and everything. So I will go ahead and give updates on where I want to take that, and some of the trials and tribulations of having a 3D printing business, right? So, because it's not all glorious, but also it's not all doom and gloom either. Especially if you're designing products that you're using and it's tried and true, and hopefully you get feedback that other people are enjoying it too. So when it comes to the technology, where it's at, I know that if you are searching YouTubes and everything, and if you're a beginner or just wanting to get into the hobby, or start a business with it, where do you start? Where's it going? Even if you have 3D printers, where's it going, right? Right now, I do see the technology going into multicolor and speed. Speed and quality always go hand in hand. Multicolor is time and presentation, really, and just the coolness of 3D printing. It's funny to kind of like think about a model that's just a one color piece, and everybody paints them and everything, and it was so cool to see it. Now we're adding 3 more colors as a total of 4, right? And now we're getting these real primitive looking models, but it's so exciting in the 3D printing world, because that just opens up. It's a game changer for a lot of things, for the hobby, for your personal models, for just cool technology, and incorporating in your business, right? There are companies out there that are making 8 colors, 16 color, 32 color, what have it. I think eventually it's gonna work its way into some sort of CMYK system where you design something, you fully color it. They already have this, but I'm talking about like FDM printers. You know what I mean? And when I say they already have, there is technology in printers that have the it's the powder with the inkjet and everything, but they're tens of thousands, hundred thousands of dollars. In fact, they're not even available to the public. I think you have to be in the business to have those kind of printers. But anyway, where the FDM printing technology is going, I do see it eventually down the line having some sort of CMYK, where thousands and thousands of colors right in there, and then of course they have to work out how that works. Is it a one filament that's dyed as you print it? But again, there's some places there that needs to be worked out, but I do believe that's where it's going. But in the meantime, we are inundated with the AMS systems, the multi head tooling systems, where like Prusa has, where the machine has 4 heads, 8 heads on a machine, and it'll pick, each one is a different color, and to pick it, print it, put it back, print it, put it back. Where the AMS system is multiple filaments going into one location with a purge tower and all that stuff. But this stuff is where I didn't think it was going 10 years ago when I started the 3D printing journey, and I did it as a hobby, and I thought it was just like, look, this is just cool for one color models, and then you work very hard on the post work, painting, sanding, what have you, right? But it's so exciting to see that I still believe that the 3D printing world is on the ground floor of it, and so we're growing with it, and companies like Bamboo Lab, like now I have a Bamboo Lab. I reviewed a Bamboo Lab A1 mini printer on this channel. I am in love with that printer, and a lot of people I've seen right now, Bamboo Labs taking a lot of heat for some of the decisions that they're maybe making in the future on their ecosystem and their, if they're going to lock it into subscription or whatever. But again, I'm not here for that kind of political talk. I really don't care, honestly. I don't. My whole world is not just Bamboo Lab, but I have one. I love it, and I am interested in the output of that particular printer. If another company like Creality, I have about 10 Creality machines. If well, I know that Creality has the AMS system, and I know that. So I'm actually, and I think they are trying to one up Bamboo. Competition in the field is great for us as consumers, right? But anyway, what I was going back to say is I'm going to review and I'm going to talk about things that I have and that I have physically have in my print farm, all the trials, all the troubleshooting, all the success too. So if the printer's working great and it's giving me exactly what I want, I'm gonna praise it. Why wouldn't I? I'll leave the whole political talk as far as the what the companies are doing and everything. I'll let that for other channels to dive into, unless it directly affects the hobbyist, because I think that's mostly directing like big print farmers and people who make this their whole life. I could be wrong. I could be not seeing it right, and if I'm not, that's why we have a comment section in section below, is to have a conversation, right? Get this going as a community. So with that being said, yeah, multicolor is where it's going. I used to think it was going to be big format printers, which there are, but these multicolor printers have brought down the size of these printers, like, right? So like Bamboo Lab, it's a 7-inch cube print build. I believe Prusa, same thing. It's like, I mean, they're getting a little bit beefier and volume wise, but the new technology reduced the size and the volume of these printers, and it's slowly going back to like the printers that you have, right? And again, with the multicolor systems, it's almost eliminating the post work on painting, finishing up these prints, right? Because what it's going to do is you're going to take it off the build plate, and that's your model. If you have to sand it, if you have to color it, defeats the whole purpose of the AMS, the multicolor, right? So the technology is going to catch up into the fact that they don't need any post work. And that's where you'll get the bigger volume sizes, right? The bigger volume, the bigger machines, and different style print heads and what have you. It's going to be awesome. It's a cool journey, and it's a cool ride so far, right? So yeah. The other aspect of is speed, right? Like, so speed and quality. I seen a lot of people try to run their printers fast because it's like, I don't want to wait 12 hours for the print, 2 days for the print. They changed the print head out to a bigger nozzle so they can do more, right? A bigger layer line so it prints faster. Yeah, speed, but see, speed and quality, I think there's a finite setting there. You can only go so fast before any quality starts being disrupted. And I'm in the school of slow the printer down for the quality you want, because post work, especially with my thing, because I've turned this into a business, so I don't want to have anything flawed coming off the printer. I want it to be taken off the printer and sell it. I mean, package it up and let it go. That's what my goal is. So I tune all my printers to a setting that I know I'm getting the best quality I can out of these machines, right? But for the hobbyist, right, if I'm like, for example, I am building, starting to build some props. I am building a pit droid, which I do have a pit droid series that I'm doing from Star Wars. I want, sometimes I just want the print because I know I'm just going to hit it with sandpaper and filler primer and Bondo and really get it, really good. I can go with the bigger nozzle. So like, if the detail is not all these little lines and circles everywhere, I can get away with a faster print as long as it's a successful print. So there is some sort of discussion there when you're approaching any kind of project, what is your final outcome? How much work do you want to put into it after, or are you going to put into it after, right? So that's the whole speed and quality thing. With I see the printers going to also that the companies are really concentrating on that specifically that, like, how can we get it faster? How can we get it better looking? How can we get the post work down almost where it's not existent, and it all coincides with the new technology of the AMS, the multicolor, right? It one technology forces the other one to adjust, which is great, right? So yeah. And speaking on the quality, right? So I also think the future of 3D printing is going to eventually be what the FDM, again, FDM specifically, not resin. Um, I do believe, and I see this going, is that companies are going to start looking in ways of minimizing layer lines in general. Um, I mean, I think there's ways of doing it. I said not disappearing completely. Maybe we'll get to that level, but it's the fusing methods of each layer and how each layer spreads out as it's laying down, consecutive layers on top. How it spreads out. Is there a way to control as in a trough area, so where it's, is the filament coming out like this, and it's um, uh, I guess smoothing the sides out to make a better layer line. I don't know, but that's where I can see companies trying to improve their hot ends. Where, check this out, look at the layer lines before and look at the layer lines after, right? No matter what quality and size and everything, that would be somewhere where I would think the technology is going to go to after, right? And again, and then that can spark a whole another revolution of 3D printers in general, new companies, new hot end companies, and everything. Again, I do want to stress, like, it, I still believe this is a 3D printing renaissance when it comes to a beginner, a veteran, somebody who's just curious about 3D printing in general, but is timid to get into the process. Um, it's always a learning curve, right? But the machines are getting so much easier that you can plug and play. A lot of it is plug and play. And I bring up the Bamboo Lab ecosystem again, which is their app. You just download a file and it's already geared. Well, somebody did the work for you, and you send it over to your printer. Cool. Are you learning anything that way? No. But you're learning maybe your limits of your printer in baby steps. But the only way to really learn it is to design and send it over and open up the slicer and play with the settings and fail the prints, or you don't, not on purpose, but like the only way you're going to learn is like, that happened, how do I fix it? But why did it happen? The why is the most important thing, right? And versus the how to fix it, that comes secondary, because if you know what to look for, then you go in there and adjust the settings. So with that, let's do a tip of the week. All right, so tip of the week: first layered adhesion problems. This is just one of many issues that can cause a first layer adhesion. Remember, first layer sets the tone for the rest of the print. It'll decide whether it's going to fail or succeed, right? But this is just one of many. It could be if you're getting ridges or the filament is not laying down and you see it curling up before it starts laying down. Besides being a leveling problem, your first layer could be going down too fast. So let's reduce the first layer speed. Defaults are usually half of the initial layer settings, which you could find in your slicer. I'm using Simplify 3D right now, but Cura, all these other ones, they're basically the language is the same. So find your initial layer height or layer speed. And this one has a speed tab, so it's a 2400 millimeters a minute. And under the layer here, where it says on the right hand side, it says first layer speed, it's 50% of that. Now you can do the math and see what it is per millimeters a second or whatever you want. But the default's usually half. It works pretty good. If you're still getting the problems, try reducing it 10% increments lower, and then see if that helps. If it's still not working for you, then it could be other issues. But this is like kind of my go-to first layer adhesion problems if I'm having any of the filament. Again, if I know it's level and I see that the filament's curling up before it starts to lay down, then I'm thinking, okay, it's going too fast. So yeah, that is, like I said, one of many that we will explore, but slow down that first layer for the good layer adhesion. One thing I like to do in between designing my own stuff and for my own store, my own business, is I do like to find out what else other people are modeling out there, and I go through all the maker spaces and Thingiverse, and I just kind of look at like, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool. I like that, and so I'll instead of like sitting there and designing myself, I'm just going to give the person who already did it the credit. I'm going to download the file, tip them if there's a tip option, buy it if there's a buy option, leave a good remark if you like it, right, and print it. So I do want to go with the model of the week that I found. All right, model of the week, or my selection for this vlog episode, is going to be this iPhone holder. There are thousands of iPhone holders out there, but I was specifically searching for something that I can use as I'm playing video games or podcasting, whatever, where I can prop my phone up. I just needed something, and I found this model here, which you can see. You can see all the profiles that it is. I did find this through the Bamboo Lab Maker World location, but I will put the link in the description below. So if you want to print this out yourself, you can. It comes in several different options as far as colors, or not colors, but build plates. Like the main areas and stuff. It's laid out for you. It does all the homework for you. You just kind of send to the printer or download yourself and do your own settings. But anyway, I did go ahead and print this myself, and I could not be happier. So all the credit goes to this iPhone holder by Han. Here it is right there. I had printed a couple of these and gave them to family members. This is such a cool looking design, and it's also functional. It's got a little gear system that ingenious, that you can adjust the vertical or the, how your phone lays down for you. It's great. It looks cool. I printed it in just regular black PLA and gray PLA, and I could not be happier with this model. So give that model a look and a shout out and a print. All right, the Emporium side, the ones that you've been waiting for, right, on the action figure side of the world, where I am knee deep into it. If you can see back here, I have a huge Star Wars nerd, huge Star Wars collection, G.I. Joe, Master of the Universe, Marvel, everything. And if you don't know what my Emporium is, well, the link is in the description below to visit the website. You'll see all the products that I offer and continue to improve on and expand on. For example, I do, Death Star walls, space walls, for if you will. I do explosion stands for G.I. Joe. I do little rock stands for Master, not specifically for Master Universe, but they fit very well, right? So what I'm working on now is expanding on the Star Wars sets, right? I have the whole Death Star for 3 3/4 and 6-inch walls that I do. So I'm expanding on those, on that type, on the Death Star stuff, right? But I'm also have designed a whole system around the Tantive opening shot for A New Hope. That the white walls and everything. That those walls are coming. I see if I can give you a preview here real fast as I'm talking. But I'm working on that. But I'm the problem is I'm trying to work a system out where it's not a 12-foot wall system of the ship that everybody has to buy. No, I want to be able to be like, here's one section for one figure if you want, or here's a 6-foot section for 100 figures if you can fit it all in there. If you want, I want to be able to have it where it's fully modular and fully customizable to your needs, right? To your shelf space is your shelf space, and it's limited, right? You have your Star Wars room, or you have your toy room. So I want to be able to have that in mind when I'm designing anything with Tashi Station, is to have a optional thing where it's like, look, here's one little section because that's all you can first, maybe afford or afford space wise, or here's like, what, I've got this entire wall, I can fill this whole thing up. Well, here you go, boom, it's all available. So that is like one of my pillars of designing. It's not just here's the play set and that's it. And I want to be able to have it built out the way you want it. And also another goal of mine is I want it to be customizable to you and your vision also. So I want to be able to give you the tools and you put it together. So your display and your friend's display are, we might have the same products, but they're different because it's the way you see it and the way you envision it, right? So more walls in that aspect for the 6-inch and 3 3/4 Star Wars stuff. Right now I'm in the concepts of something for Marvel Legends. That's something that my store has been lacking. Anything for the Marvel Legends, stuff. And what I'm working on right now, and I don't have anything to show, but it's a whiteboard concept. But once I get it, once it's going, it'll take off like wildfire, and I'll have a lot of things and input, from everybody to have on it. But I'm looking at a very comic style, a very cell shaded style backgrounds for your Marvel Legends. So if it's a brick wall alleyway, it's not going to be your realistic looking brick walls. It's going to have a comic book feel to it. And that's where the AMS systems of 3D printing, the multicolor, will come into, where there's going to be no painting involved. It's going to be just whatever the vibrant plastics are. I'm very excited about that kind of concept. I don't see it too much out there. I haven't come across it. So I'm excited to see how that's going to play into bringing comic book figures to life on your shelf. And so in addition to all the background displays, of course, I'm keeping up with the stands in general. So any kind of new lines that come out, I will adjust my double peg stand, single peg, just regular stands. Like all these figures on behind here, all on my stands, my just regular action figure stands that I've designed and outputted. They're all there. So there's not much more I could do unless a smaller line, a medium line, a bigger line comes out. I can adjust at will. But also, I do listen to feedback like crazy, through my Instagram, through YouTube here, the comments. If there's a line of figures that you have, and it could be like, for example, let's say Mythic Legions, okay? Mythic Legions come out, and somebody asked me, do my stands fit those? I do have an answer for that, and the answer is yes, but also, say if I didn't, I will go out and get one and make sure I have that covered in the lines. And I will, of course, put it on the descriptions like, okay, yes, Mythic Legions is confirmed. These fit, and tried and true, right? I bought a couple, whatever, and I want to make sure that I have covered the aspect of all collecting, right? So if there's lines that you have questions on that you don't see in my descriptions on my products, ask me. Ask me in, like I said, through Instagram or comment section, and I'll get back to you very promptly. So with that, I think I'm gonna we'll finalize this vlog episode, and to recap, again, I do think where the 3D printing world is going is going to be the multicolor stuff. That I think the companies have switched gears, and I say companies, I'm talking like Prusa, Creality, Anycubic, Elegoo, Bamboo. I mean, there's Sunloop. There's all. I mean, there's Solvo. I meant to say Solvo, but there's all kinds of companies and new ones that are coming out of the woodworks and presenting to us. Again, competition breeds innovation, which helps us consumers. We're the only ones that can benefit from it. We don't want one company ruling them all. It's all good. So multicolor on that. And Tashi Station, more walls, more designs, and something for Marvel Legends is coming. It's definitely coming in the vein of a comic book style / cell shading, utilizing the multicolor systems that I got into and where the technology is going. So with that, thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe, and never miss an episode of these vlogs that I'm dropping. Plus my ultimate build series, which I am building a life-size pit droid for the Sarlacc Digest Star Wars podcast as their mascot, which I am one of the hosts on. So it is kind of, it's for me too, but it's also for that podcast. So, but this channel is where it's all going to be. Here's all your build series, your tips and tricks. We're going to talk about 3D printing for a business. As a business, I'll get into some of the aspects probably in the next vlog on what I'm going through trying to start, maintain, and grow a 3D printing business. You know, there's a lot of points that I can make, and there's a lot of input that I still don't know that I'm trying to learn as I go too. So I do like to share. I am a sharer. You know, I like to see if I can take something, do it, and then like, hey, this works. Everybody, you know, go off and do it because yeah, it's fun. It's fun, right? So again, like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the section below if you have any questions, comments, or whatever. And yeah, till the next one, everybody, stay safe.